Hey y'all, how y'all doing? In this video, we're going to be proving from the Bible that hell really does exist. It's a literal place, and that hell is an eternal place. Right? So, turn to the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, verse 22. Jesus said, "But I tell you that anyone who's angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to a brother or sister, Raka, is answerable to the court, and anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of the fire of hell." Right? So in Greek, the word for hell is Hades, which is sometimes translated to death or the grave, similar to in Hebrew, Sheol. So Jesus, he says the fire of hell, not just hell. So there's no room for interpretation saying, well, Jesus just means the grave. He just means the second death. No, he means hellfire. Right? Jesus also says in Matthew 5:30, and if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. That also shows that hell really exists. It doesn't emphasize that hell is made of fire, but it definitely shows that it exists. And the former verse shows that hell is going to be made of fire. Yeah, it's sad, but it is how it is, right? Then turn to Revelation 20, verses 14. Well, let's go back to verse 11 and read through verse 15, the passage. So this is John seeing a vision of, Judgment Day. Then I saw a great white throne and him who was seated on it. The earth and the heavens fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and the books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them, and each person was judged according to what they had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. Anyone whose name was not found written in the book of life was thrown into the lake of fire. So the book of life is a symbolism. It's most likely not literal, but it's a symbolism for on the day of judgment. Are you saved or are you going to hell? Right? Are you going to heaven? You going to hell? If you're going to heaven, your name is symbolized by being written in the book of life. But let's emphasize these last two verses 14 and verse 15. It says, then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. So what does it mean? What does that mean? That means death is destroyed. Death is killed by being thrown into the lake of fire, right? So death can no longer happen amongst anybody because it has been destroyed. This is most likely symbolic language, but God knows best. So what this is saying really is that death is going to be destroyed. And that means in heaven, nobody's going to die because there's no pain. There's no more mourning, nor sorrow, nor pain, for the former things have passed away. And in hell, there's going to be no death. So this kind of debunks the whole annihilationist view of hell being that after a certain amount of time or immediately when someone goes to hell, they're going to, cease to exist and be destroyed by God. But no, this says death will be destroyed so they can no longer die. So when they're in hell, it's going to last forever. And we know that because after death and Hades are thrown into the lake of fire is the second death. It says in verse 15, anyone whose name was not found written in the book of life was thrown into the lake of fire. So that's an event that happens after death is destroyed. So they can no longer die, meaning that they're in hell forever. It's a sad thing because really I don't like hell. I don't want people to go to hell, but the fact of the matter is not talking about it would not be doing any better than talking about it, right? It would be doing worse than talking about it, right? So it sounds like a bad thing because it is, but it's not a bad thing to talk about because it's a good thing to talk about, to raise awareness so that people are aware of what awaits them if they choose to disbelieve and they choose to reject Jesus. Watch the series about what's needed for salvation if you want to know how to avoid this terrible place of hell. Have a good day. Hope this was beneficial to you. Bye.